What's up, everyone? Welcome to another installment of Not What It Seems. This is our opening day preview. How are we feeling?
Dude, feeling great. Spring training is over. Regular season is starting, and I'm pretty excited for what this year's going to bring.
No, thank God, finally. We have
Yeah.
so we're gonna go into a whole preview of the season. We have our playoff brackets, our award predictions. First, we're gonna hop into a few injury updates. So the first one you just told me about, and now I'm just in a very pissy mood about because I just drafted him in fantasy. Luke Voigt is set to have surgery after he partially tear his meniscus, and he's expected to return by June.
Yeah, Liam, it sucks. I hate to see Luke get injured. I know you said you just drafted him in fantasy too, so
It's just right.
that's pretty unfortunate. Listen, you hate to see these injuries before opening day for anyone, and they always seem to happen to good players right before opening day. And Luke was the league leader in homers last year, even though it was a 60 game season. And a lot of people predicted that he could possibly do it again. So now, obviously, there's a very slim chance of that.
No,
So,
yeah. I
yeah,
feel
for the
like
Yanks, it's a big blow. But,
I feel like it used to be like the Mets with the injury bug, but I feel like now it's just you guys.
dude,
It's
every fucking
constant.
year. And, like, dude, I'm just as sick of the injury excuses as people who aren't Yankee fans are sick of us saying it. But, I mean, come on. Luke Voigt getting hurt, Britton's out. I mean, we've already had a few, and the season hasn't even started yet. So,
No, it's a
but
great time, truly.
we'll hope. I mean, again, they're saying he could return before June, um, because he didn't tear the whole thing, so
Okay.
I guess that's better for him. But listen, now we heard it officially today that Jay Bruce has made the team and will be our starting first
Ah,
baseman
oh,
until
then we're
Voigt
good.
comes
You're
back.
good then.
So
Oh,
we're good. I
that's
mean,
exactly who I figured
I'm
would
pretty
save you
happy with
guys.
that. Jay Bruce, former Met, one of your favorites.
Oh,
Yeah.
truly, yeah. No, I loved his 220 average. That was great.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen, he was hitting like 190 in spring training so far, so that's what we need at first base.
No, exactly. That's the.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that division, the Blue Jays have a couple banged up players of their own. So Kirby Yates is now out for the season after going through the Tommy John. All-Star last year, was set to be their closer. Apparently his physical has some red flags on it as they signed him, but yep, now their Blue Jays are without a top reliever as well. And then George Springer, of course, another guy who I drafted, has an oblique strain, and he hopes to be ready for opening day. So that is a much less serious one. But AL East has some major injuries.
Yeah. So like Yates, All-Star actually back in 2019. Not to correct you, but
Got you.
last year Yates kind of went through some injury issues last year too. I think he only pitched like 6 games for the Padres, which is kind of amazing considering how good San Diego actually was last year without him as their
True,
closer.
true.
But yeah, I mean, ERA of 1.19 in 2019 and 41 saves. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Like, apparently he passed. Like, I don't even know if he passed his physicals. Like, there were like red flags. I don't know what that means. I know
Hmm.
that Atlanta was planning on signing him, and then they decided not to after some things came up on his physical. And the Blue Jays too. I saw that they were going to sign him to like an $8 million deal, and they lowered the amount of money to 5.5 million because of the fact that he could get injured. Um, I mean, to invest 5.5 million though in someone who you think could possibly get injured, and I bet they
Still,
weren't expecting
seems so
Tommy
dumb.
John, but yeah.
Especially after all they just spent in this offseason anyway.
Right, and like, because they were counting on him to like be the guy in the ninth inning, man. Like he has proven that he's an awesome closer. It sucks. I mean, they're paying 5.5 million. He was only on a 1 year deal,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I guess that's a good part. At least there's not a huge amount of risk there, but
yeah. And then
still frustrating for them.
yeah, I mean their bullpen they got some guys, but remember Ken Giles isn't there anymore now. He's on Seattle. Plus he had Tommy John surgery. There's just their bullpen is not in best shape right now. Neither is their starting staff. Obviously, their offense has the potential to be the best in the league. But
Yeah.
hopefully Springer's back for opening day. I know Blue Jays fans really want to see him in starting lineup after that big contract. So I mean, I think it's looking up towards opening day that he's going to play against us at Yankee Stadium. So, we'll see what happens there. But tough break for Toronto for both of those guys.
Right. So again, the American League, Eloy Jimenez has a torn left pectoral muscle, so he's going to be out a substantial amount of time, 5 to 6 months. So big blow for them, another major contender in the American League.
Yeah, man, this one hurts. I mean, 5 to 6 months. That's that's a whole season, pretty much. I mean, and so this is tough, man. It's like left pectoral. Like you'd never hear that injury. I don't even. So I mean, did you see it was a pretty shitty play. I mean, he went to kind of rob a home run, and he's a righty, so his left-handed glove is like over the fence kind of, and you could just see him kind of get like stuck like this on the fence,
Right.
and he kind of like came back over, and like you could tell when he got up, like his left arm was like not even moving, like he could barely move it. So it's pretty tough to watch, and there's been a lot of talk, man. Like a lot of people wanted Eloy to kind of become a full-time DH maybe, and
Hmm.
he's fought that, and he said he wants to play the field, and then this happens. I mean, that's pretty unfortunate for a guy that wants to play the field. I would assume that if he comes back at some point this year, they're going to put him at the DH spot.
Right.
Next year is a different story, but
I'm thinking too, that's kind of a risky play to do in spring training. I mean, I
it
know he's
is.
a competitor. I'm not saying like don't go after that ball, but like, damn, that game meant nothing.
Nothing, man. And yeah, it's tough for Chicago. I mean, he was going to be like right in the middle of that fucking lineup. He's a beast. You see
Yeah.
him in his first 2 years, he had an OPS above 800, like both years. Last year it was closer to 900. So, yeah, it sucks. But you wonder what's going to happen here. I mean, they have that young kid, Andrew Vaughn, who has only really played first base, but does he all of a sudden become starting left fielder? Or do they go out and make a move? Because with Tony La Russa in the fold now, they're in it to win it. Like, they
Oh
are
yeah, they're
not
all
just going
in.
to throw
So
someone out there. I mean, and again, Vaughn's never played outfield. He's supposedly a great hitter, but you're really just going to throw him out there? I don't know about that.
maybe they make a move. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I
All
mean,
for.
I was honestly thinking it just got announced today for the Yankees that Mike Tauchman made the team, and he was out of options for like AAA, so they were either going to have to leave him on the team or release him or something or trade him. I was like, literally, when I saw this yesterday or the day before, I thought they might have tried to do a trade for Tauchman with us because of this. Not that Tauchman is like Jimenez's level, but he's a solid outfielder,
Yeah, it's a possibility. Talkman's pretty
but
capable.
But now that he's on our squad, I don't know if a trade would happen unless maybe we get a bullpen piece because of Britton and some other guys being out. But there's a
Right.
lot of other moves that could be made, so we'll see what happens. That's a tough injury, though.
So next up, Zach Gallen on the Arizona Diamondbacks has a hairline fracture in his right forearm, and he is questionable for opening day.
Yeah, he was probably the D-backs' best pitcher last year. Obviously, Bumgarner had a horrible season. So,
Right.
yeah, Gallen has been he's been great ever since he came up. He came up with Miami, then got traded over to the D-backs. And he's had an ERA above 3 in his first two big league seasons. That's pretty good for a young guy like that to pitch. Obviously, it was a shortened season last year, but still, I mean, to have an ERA below 3 is like pretty solid. And we obviously don't project the D-backs to be competing this year, but he obviously maybe could have been a trade piece. I don't know,
Yeah.
but hopefully he's back soon. They don't really have a timetable, I don't think, but a fracture, I don't know.
Yeah, he's still pretty young. I feel like he'll be a good
Yeah,
piece for them going forward once he's back. I
yeah.
feel like they're like an odd team. They're probably around like a 500 level, maybe a little worse, but I feel like they're
Mm.
not going to be fun to play against.
Yeah, no, I don't, and I think Bumgarner definitely bounces back.
Right.
There's no way he's going to have an ERA above 6 again. So
No.
if he does, I don't think he's going to be a D-back much longer. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age too, I feel like. So I don't know how much to expect from him, but
Yeah,
we'll see. And
yeah.
then our last major one, well, this is a major player, but a minor injury. Fernando Tatis Jr. has left shoulder discomfort. He is expected to be ready for opening day. He even homered as a DH after the injury, but just something to keep in mind going forward for the Pods.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like at the time that got announced, it was like, whoa, like hopefully he's okay. And then the next day he started as DH and hit a bomb over a right field fence, so I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, it should
Um,
be good. Padres fans don't have to worry.
so yeah, Padres fans, you can exhale here. Looks like Fernando is going to be hitting second for you on opening day. So
So they're up. Oh, you know what? I'll even mention because this sounds like just a classic Mets injury. Robbie
mm,
Ray, he bruised his left elbow by falling down the stairs.
yeah, he did. Yes.
No, I mean, I remember when Lucas Duda hurt his back moving furniture.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
exactly
yeah. I
what it sounds
mean,
like.
Lucas Duda with furniture, Yoenis Cespedes falling in a hole on his farm.
Oh, God bless him.
The boar, whatever the fuck happened there. I mean, listen, Robbie Ray was having a great spring too for Toronto. This was all that he fucking needed. I mean, this is that sounds like a Mets injury to me.
No, like we should make a trade for him tomorrow. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, hopping into our playoff predictions, we are each going to do a bracket and their projected wins. So I'll let you go first. Who you got for um, 6 divisions and then 4 wild cards?
Yeah. So for the divisions, in the American League first, I have the New York Yankees as the 1 seed. Not trying to sound biased here, but I think most people would predict the Yankees to be in first place in the East.
Right.
I got the Yanks over 100 wins. I got them winning 102 games this year. And they're gonna have the 1 seed in the AL. 2 seed in the AL. I think it's gonna be the White Sox. I think they're gonna play better than the Twins. It's gonna be close, but I think they're gonna play better than the Twins. I got them with 94 wins. And then in the West, I know a lot of people might pick Houston, and Houston has to prove it to me though before anything. Because again, we've talked about this a lot. A lot of their guys have not had good seasons last year, so I got the A's as a 3 seed, winning 92 games. And that's not a lot of wins for winning the division, but I really don't think Houston is as good as some people predict they're going to be. So
It's going to be a close one.
yeah. Um, so wild cards in the American League. For the first wild card spot, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. Um, Hopefully these injuries that we just talked about don't affect them that much
No, right?
because I have Toronto winning 93 games. Um, but they're obviously going to be second in the East, which is why they will occupy the wild card spot. Um, and I'm hoping that by the time the playoffs happen, they'll be back at the Rogers Center because they're in the 4 seed, which means they would host the wild card game. So that would be a great
Really?
atmosphere. We've
Stuck in
seen great
Tampa?
wild card games. Yeah, that would suck, man. Like, I really don't want to see that. Hey, I mean, bring it back to like 2016. Edwin Encarnacion walk off in the wild card
Dude,
game
they've had
against
some
the O's.
moments the last
Yeah,
decade, but it's been a drought since then.
yeah. So I think this is the year they really get going in the playoffs. I think they're gonna have a shot here. Obviously, last year it was like the young guys' first time playing the Rays, who actually ended up winning the pennant, making it to the World Series. So it was a good like first taste, I think. And now
Yeah.
that they have Springer and they have guys who have made the playoffs, they have Semien. That's really going to help the young guys, and I think that that makes them stay in contention even with an iffy pitching staff this year. And for my 5th seed in the AL, I have the Minnesota Twins. Like I said, they're going to hold on. It's going to be a close race with the White Sox. I have the Twins winning 92 games, which is 2 games behind Chicago in the standings. It could easily be flipped, I'll be honest with you. But listen, the one question with the Twins is I think that barring them just completely fucking up, I don't see them missing the playoffs. That shouldn't be the issue for the Twins. The issue should be when you make
Like
it, you
winning it.
have to win at least a game. I
I
mean,
mean, no, I mean, you would hope a series, but at this point, just
yeah,
a game.
yeah. I mean, Twins fans, it's got to be rough. I mean, seeing this happen year after year. You guys have great teams. And listen, Nelson Cruz should help that. They have a young guy, Kirilov. I think he played in the second game against Houston last year for like his first game ever in the wild card series. He's supposed to be pretty good, and they let Eddie Rosario go because they want this kid to start. So he's got some pretty big shoes to fill here.
Yeah.
And then moving on to my National League teams, it's pretty obvious who's going to be the 1 seed, in my opinion. The Los Angeles Dodgers are the 1 seed. Padres fans, I know you want me to say that you should be higher than the Dodgers, but the
They're
Dodgers are gonna have
close,
to.
but
They're
like
close, so
just
close,
behind.
man. I mean, in my opinion, the Padres are like the second or third best team in the entire league, and yet they're gonna be a wild card spot.
Right. And
So
that's
it's
with a couple of their starters banged up too.
yeah. So yeah, but I got LA. You know, Kershaw, Bueller, Muncy, Turner, Bellinger, Betts. I mean, you just
Bauer.
say the whole, yeah, and now Bauer. So listen, they're gonna be a powerhouse. They're probably the best team in the league right now. And so I got the Dodgers in the one seed. Um, in my second seed, I have the New York Mets. I have the Mets winning 91 games, edging out the Braves and the Nats and the Phillies and the Marlins. I mean, that division is going to be pretty tough, but listen, I'm predicting Lindor to have one of his best seasons ever. I'm predicting Pete to be the way he was 2 years ago. And I mean, that pitching staff, you can't say that there's really any holes. Obviously, there have been some injuries recently, but DeGrom, Stroman, Walker, that's your top three. Then Lucchesi and either Peterson or,
Yamamoto.
yeah, Yamamoto. So, and obviously Syndergaard's going to come back. They're going to have guys come back from injuries. Let's hope that Edwin Diaz has another good season like he did last year. Obviously, we all know about the struggles in 2019, but so yeah, I got the Mets as a two seed with 91 wins, and that's not really a ton for like a two seed,
I was
but I
gonna
think
say that's a pretty
yeah,
balanced National League then.
and I think so. The three seed is the St. Louis Cardinals for me, and they're going to be at 90 wins. Um, I don't think there's going to be a lot of wins coming out of that division or the East in the National League just because of the other teams in the divisions, both of them, like the NL East and the NL Central, are good. Like the Reds, they're all just going to beat up on each other, and I think that kind of like levels out the fact that they're not going to win 100 games.
No, I
Like
don't think anyone's gonna
yeah,
come close.
yeah, and that's tough. But yeah, I got the Cardinals winning that division. I know the Brewers. A lot of people are pretty confident in the Brewers, and I am too. But I just think that the Cardinals are going to edge them out. Having Arenado and Goldschmidt is really going to help a lot. So that's what I got as the division winners. And then for my fourth fourth seed in the National League, it's going to be the top wild card spot. I kind of gave this away, but I got the San Diego Padres as the fourth seed in the National League, winning 100 games even. I think they're
That's
going to have a
legit
great season. Yeah,
for a
as a
wild
wild
card.
card team. Yeah, no, you remember like the Yanks did it a few years ago when we played Oakland, I think, and
Okay.
Boston won the division like 108 or 9 wins or
Yeah, they had a
something.
fat total.
I think we had exactly 100 maybe or something like that. But yeah, the Padres. You know, we know that if it wasn't for the Dodgers, they would have won the West last year, and they think that they can beat the Dodgers in the West. I mean, you ask any Padre,
I like
they're going to
that.
tell you we're going to win the division, and I think they truly believe that too.
No, they're
I don't,
confident.
and they should be. I mean, Tatis, Machado, Hosmer, again, like having a guy like Eric Hosmer on your team is just so key. You remember his days with Kansas City. He was just a leader, and he's a leader there to help out these young kids. Like
Yeah.
Drake Cronenworth, I feel like he's going to look up to him a lot. I think that Trent Grisham is another one who's young and they're really hungry, and they showed that they have like a charisma around them. And I think Hosmer does too, and he's going to be there to help them out. Even he can help out Machado or Tatis because we all know Machado is a great player, but he kind of has those question marks around him.
Yeah.
And I think having Hosmer there kind of balances out his like ego a little bit because Hosmer is
Yeah.
just like a great guy. So
And Hosmer's a steady bat too. He's definitely not like one of the best on the team, but he's
no,
he's pretty reliable. I would give him that.
and especially his postseason numbers. I mean, with Kansas City those years, and with San Diego now last year, he had a pretty good postseason last year as well.
Yeah.
And then so for the second wild card spot in the National League, I have the Atlanta Braves. Like I said, you guys have 91 wins. The Braves are going to have 90 wins. So it's going to come down to that last
Neck and
weekend.
neck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't argue that Atlanta isn't good. They could easily win the division as well. Freddie, Ozuna, Acuna, Albies, the pitchers, Fried, Soroka is supposed to come back at some point. They just got Charlie Morton as well. So what's going to be kind of interesting is I'm predicting them to be a wild card team. Which one of those guys is going to get the ball? I mean, they're all
Mm.
aces. Soroka has been unbelievable when he's been on the field. Obviously, he's going to be coming off the injury. You would lean towards Freed, but Charlie Morton is reliable, and if he
He's
has a
got the
great season,
experience.
because I mean, he pitched last year into the World Series with the Rays. Obviously, he did what he did with Houston, and so yeah, I got the
That's a
Braves as
tough
the
call.
5 seed, and yeah, it's going to be tough. But again, though, the Braves could easily beat the Mets in the division and take over that seed, and so can the Nationals and the Phillies and the Marlins, even for that matter. So the NL East is going to be a dogfight, man. It really is going to be crazy, and I just do have the Mets coming out on top and the Braves very close behind.
Yeah, best division in
So
baseball from top to bottom, and definitely even just
absolutely,
in recent memory too.
yeah, I agree.
So we have
So
pretty similar brackets because I feel like the playoff favorite, it's most of them are pretty well known. So I'll start with American League. I have Yankees winning the 1 seed with 101. Even I just obviously the key is health. I mean, we literally just talked about it with Void and Britton and all of them. But I have them at 101. For the Central, I have the White Sox at 94. For the West, I'm torn, but I'm gonna go with the A's at 92 because I just feel like they
okay,
always pull it out. They freaking
yeah,
Bogey just always finds a way, and I want to go with the Angels. I do, and I really want to see Trout get it, and I want to see Otani just have this ridiculous like
yeah.
year on both sides of the bat. But I don't know. They'll have to prove it.
And
So
it breaks my heart, man, to not put the Angels in a bracket because I want to see Trout in the playoffs. I want to see Pujols in the playoffs, his potentially last season. I want to see what Otani can do. Rendon, I mean, it's just, it's tough, man. It's a
I
tough
hope
call.
so. I had them
I hope,
slide there about like 20 minutes ago, and then I'm thinking more about the A's. I'm like, you know
yeah.
what?
Hey,
So
the A's always figured out. So,
no, exactly. So those are my divisions. For the two wild cards, I have the Blue Jays at 92 for the reasons we've been talking about. And then again, too, I'm torn with the Angels here, but I'm gonna go with the Twins at 90. I just think
okay.
they're too stacked.
Yeah.
And obviously they got to prove it once they're there. But as far as just a regular season team, like they're plenty good enough. So
Yeah.
I forget if I even mentioned this. I have Blue Jays at 92 and Twins at 90. So
Hmm.
that is my American League. For National League, easy choice, Dodgers 103 to win the West. For the Central, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals at 89. Pretty,
89.
yeah,
Wow.
pretty low. I think Flaherty is going to have a sick year. I think he's going to be big for them. And I mean, obviously, we talked about Arenado coming in. So I have them at
Yeah.
89. They're going to barely edge out. I don't know who's going to be second. Milwaukee, I guess. Maybe Chicago.
Chicago,
I have no idea.
possibly. I mean, even the Reds, possibly. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough, man. God, it's just like, again, though, like we said, there could be a lot of people leaving that division come deadline time, especially for
That's
the
fair.
Cubs.
Now to the East. So I'm going to put this out there. As a Mets fan, I can never expect anything good. I just can't. So, do I
Yeah.
think they're going to be really good this year? Like, yeah, but I will absolutely not put that on like the recording, I just can't. So, I'm going to, so just for this sake, I'm going to predict they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm just going to put it out there. So, I have the Braves
Wow.
winning that division at 92.
92.
I have just I think Soroka is going to be a big game changer for them come this
Yeah.
summer. And I mean, you look at Acuna, Albies, Freddie, just a stacked lineup. So,
There's not much not to like. So,
right. So those are my divisions. For the
Okay.
wild card, I have the Padres at 96. And again, like the second wild card, it's hard not to pick the Mets, but I just can't. So I'm gonna go with
Oh
the
man, not
Nationals.
even a wild card.
No, see, like I just no Mets fans listening will know what I mean. I just can't. So I have the
Yeah.
Nationals. I'll give them like a with 89.
Okay.
I'll give them they're just like just good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the Nats. Obviously, that rotation is still one of the best in baseball. Plus, they added Lester, so that's gonna help.
I think Strasburg will
Schwarber,
be a key for them if he can stay healthy.
and hey, Scherzer's last season on the contract.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, you think they possibly extend him, or is this his last year in DC?
He's getting up there. That's a tough call.
I think he's 36.
He's 36. He's dropped off a little bit too.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit signs him this offseason because he
Mm.
played there for a while, kind of up and coming. Sign him to like a 4-year deal or something until he's 40. He could help out a lot of those young pitchers like Mize, Turnbull, guys like that. But yeah, I mean, this could be his last run with the Nats because
That's an
of
interesting
the
thought too,
other.
because
Yeah,
he already has that ring
exactly.
on his finger, so like he's not gonna be as
Yeah.
worried about going to a contending team in the offseason. So
No.
Detroit could actually that's pretty plausible. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are our brackets there. Obviously, we're not really going to go through who we think is going to win each series because we're going to wait and see. But
Right.
um, just though, who, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like we'll probably talk some more playoffs, maybe like halfway through the season again. Maybe
Yeah.
give our like World Series picks then. Not who's going to really necessarily win, but not going to do that now. Too early. So
Yeah. And I feel like, just off the top of my head, I feel like Dodgers is such an easy answer, but we'll see. I don't know. Sports are so wacky. I feel like you never
yeah.
know what's gonna happen. So
And there could easily be teams that we haven't picked here that are going to be in the playoffs for any
yeah.
division. So,
I think there's gonna be a lot
um,
more parity this year compared to even just like 2 years ago, where you had what like five teams lose 100 games, or it was
yeah,
somewhere from three to five.
it was, yeah, well, it was probably like Baltimore, Detroit, Pittsburgh, maybe. I mean, I think this year there's going to be a few though that lose 100 games. Like
There'll be
not
a
a
couple. Yeah, you're right.
lot.
You have like your
No,
Baltimore, I guess,
I guess I'm going to
and
say
your
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh.
I think
That's true.
Colorado is going to lose more than 100 also. I just think
Yeah.
because I think
Now that you
Story's
say
gone
that,
at the
that's true.
deadline. So, yeah, but,
I just feel like there's more teams in the mix. Maybe it's just because both of the Centrals are bad. I don't know.
yeah, it's like, but that also leaves a lot of those teams in the mix. Like, because the Brewers are obviously in the mix, the Cubs are in the
Right.
mix, the Reds are in the mix.
Yeah.
I mean, the Indians are there. I don't think they have the same offense as like the White Sox or the Twins, but their pitching staff can match up with anybody's. Um, Kansas City got better. I don't think they're in the mix for a playoff spot necessarily this year, but maybe next year or the year after that.
Hmm.
And again, the National League East, anyone could make it.
Exactly.
And
And that wasn't the
also,
case in years past, I feel like.
no, I mean, yeah, I just, again, we were talking about this before. I think there's going to be at least 1 to 2 teams that fuck up in injuries wise. Something happens where they're not as good as we think they're going to be in the East because obviously, again, everybody's supposed to be good, but it might not happen that way. And I also think that the Rays are always going to be the Rays and they're going to be around.
Yeah.
Obviously, you think Toronto's going to be really good and the Yankees are going to be really good, but the Rays, even after losing Snell and Morton, they could
They're
still
just gonna
find a
find a
way.
way, I feel
So,
like, to like just be
yeah.
up there.
So, yeah, we'll see. And again, the Astros too could always prove us wrong and be like the Astros that they used to be.
They have most
At,
of that team still there. Most of that championship core.
yeah, and they did actually just extend Lance McCullers to a 5-year extension. I don't
Right.
know if you saw that.
If he stays healthy, I mean that's the big key.
Yeah. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of teams that could potentially get in that we haven't picked here, and it's always great to have a lot of teams like that are there towards the end. You know what I mean? Like you don't like when it's just definitely these two are going to be the wild cards. Everyone else is kind of back. Like you want everybody to
Yeah.
kind of be close to the two that are going to make it, and then that makes it exciting last weekend too. So
Yeah, I think September is gonna be a pretty
yeah,
competitive month. I don't think it's gonna be like a done deal by then.
no, I definitely don't either for either league. So
Okay, awards time. So we'll start with Rookie of the Year, and we'll go AL then NL. So who you got AL?
AL, I think not that there's a clear favorite, but after what he did in the postseason last year, you kind of got to lean towards him. I'm going with Randy Rosarena on the Rays. I mean, dude, he hit fucking 400, 10 homers, some 14 RBIs in 20 postseason games. I mean, are you kidding? He had,
I think I think he is a favorite. No, I'll give
yeah,
him that. I think he's also like the Vegas, a clear Vegas favorite right now too.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about Tampa, so he'll be a big
I,
part of that if they're actually going to be in
he's,
the mix.
in my opinion, like if he does what he, not even what he did in the postseason. Obviously, he can't do that over a whole season. But if he plays like hits over 300, hits homers like he did, then not only will he be in the Rookie of the Year voting, he'll be in the MVP voting, and then I think the Tampa Bay Rays will make the playoffs if he plays like he did. So
He
that's what
might
I
be
got.
one of the better position players they've had in a few years now, especially after
Uh,
Longoria fell off.
I
They've had
agree.
the pitching, but they never have had like a star
No.
like position player.
Yeah,
So
I mean, they had Zobrist, but like he's not a star. Kiermaier isn't really like a star. He's great defensively, but he's not like that star guy.
yeah, I mean Brandon Lau has had some big
Yeah,
has some power, but
Joey Wendell
yeah,
too. Hey, and there's also another Ray that could potentially. We just don't know if he's going to come up. Wander Franco.
true, true.
With Willie Adames playing short, though, I don't really see a spot for him yet. Unless
Yeah,
they trade him. So
yeah,
who you
they'll
got?
probably wait a little bit.
Who you got for yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Randy too.
You
I,
are.
I think that's an easier
Yeah.
one. I'll say Jared Kalenic, depending on when they call him up, will be in the
Because
mix.
it did just get announced today that they're starting him in the minors,
Okay, so
which you wouldn't have thought they would do that after everything that
no,
happened.
like
But
they literally freaking Mather ratted them out that they just were like deliberately doing that. You thought maybe they changed their mind, but I almost respect that. I almost respect it just like, we really just don't care.
yeah, but
It's
man, I
stupid though.
mean,
No, it's definitely it's
yeah,
annoying for the game.
he just has the chance when he's up with Seattle to be their best player, even with Kyle
Yeah.
Lewis there. So, yeah, I hope that he comes up at some point this year. I don't see why not unless an injury happens. So,
Yeah. So who you got for NL for rookie of the year?
so NL, I got probably the best player on Pittsburgh, and he's only played like 24 games. Key Brian Hayes is a third baseman that they called up last year. I mean, he was a stud. He just made everything look easy. It almost made it seem like he wasn't even trying how easy it looked. And obviously he is. And he kind of had some more power. Obviously it was only over 24 games, but this kid's a stud. Pittsburgh is really excited to have him. And I've even heard there's been preliminary extension talks like the past week with him and the front office. Not that he's agreed to anything yet, but that's how high they are on him after he's only played like 20 something games. So that's who I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him too. So he had
Hmm.
again super small sample size last year, but he had a 1124 OPS last year, and then 1259 in the spring. So obviously does not need to put that up to be the best player on that team. He can, if he just gives him somewhere in the
Yeah.
800s, he could definitely win Rookie of the Year. I heard what you were saying with the contract too. I actually heard he declined an offer
Did he
for
decline it?
the.
Oh, he
I'm
did.
reading the second off season in a row.
Wow. Oh,
So
wow.
I mean that's it's almost embarrassing for Pittsburgh. And for like a young player to decline that really shows you
Yeah.
like the direction they're headed in.
I mean, I wonder how much it was for. Like, if he's declined it twice, you're like 20 something years old. You're not
I
taking the
can't
contract.
imagine that much just considering how much Pittsburgh spends on their team.
Yeah.
But not a great sign for them. But I mean, regardless, we both think he's going to be the best rookie in the National League. So
And something that I was actually kind of like disappointed about with Pittsburgh was that Todd Frazier asked to be released, I think. And I think he just didn't want to play for a team as bad as Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
I
he's a
think
veteran.
he would have been a great mentor for Hayes, man. Like third base.
That's true.
They probably would have gotten along great. You know, Todd Father, man, he's such a great guy, and
I
I
love
think
him.
he probably would have played some first too. And he was having a great spring. I wouldn't be surprised if the next few days Todd Frazier signed somewhere else, even the Yankees,
That's true.
because of Bruce now is going to be our
That'd be a
starting
great
first
return.
baseman.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you remember like when he was playing for us. I mean, you guys loved him too. Thumbs down, dude. I mean, remember the guy? It was like this big fat guy in the stands that did it or something,
Oh
and then it
yeah.
just became our fucking thing that year, man. So listen, everybody in New York loves him. He's a Jersey guy. No matter if you're a Mets fan or a Yankees fan, you love Todd Frazier.
Oh
So,
yeah. I loved him when he was with us.
yeah. So we'll
So
see.
that's interesting. I didn't know he
Yeah,
had requested that. So we'll see where he ends up.
yeah,
Maybe that's something we talk about in the next couple of
yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
So moving on to MVPs, American League. Who you got?
Yeah, so speaking of the Yankees, I got my boy DJ LeMahieu winning the MVP finally. He has been in the top four in the MVP voting the past 2 seasons. We just re-signed him to a big contract that he's going to want to live up to. DJ, what does he not do, man? I mean, he hits for average, he hits for power now that he's playing in New York with the short porch, and he's just a great clubhouse guy. He is like the model of a Yankees player, I think. Even for someone who isn't a Yankees fan, I
Yeah,
think most people would say that.
very like clean
Um,
cut. Just
right. He doesn't
he's
say
yeah, I
too
agree with
much.
that.
And he's also come up huge in the playoffs for us. You remember back in 2019 in Game 6 before all the nonsense with Altuve, LeMahieu had tied it in the
Yeah,
top
the
of the
right
ninth.
field. Yeah,
Barely got out, but I think that most Yankees fans thought that he just saved our season when he really only delayed the loss. But still, he came up
they
big
love him.
there.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're right. He's beloved among Yankees
and
fans.
he also took a little bit of a pay cut, I think, to let
Oh,
the Yankees make some other moves. I mean, 6 years, 90 million is nothing to like scoff at, but George Springer got 6 years, 150.
that's a 6 years, 90 million. That's what he's on right now.
And yeah, he's
That's
getting
a
paid
bargain.
15 million per year. And I think he did that so the Yankees can stay below the luxury tax and sign other guys every year. So,
That's huge. Wow, I
so
did
you can
not know
tell he really
that.
wants to be in New York too. So,
He's had such an
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I don't have him. I don't have him win MVP. He's had such an interesting career though, especially going from a place like Colorado where like he was good and like it's a hitter's
yeah,
park. So I feel like if anything, you would have thought maybe his stats would have just dropped or stayed the same.
yeah,
You know,
gotten
even if
like
he was like
worse.
short
Yeah,
porch. But he's. I mean, to go from an MVP contender, especially he's getting up there now in age. I mean, he's not in like
yeah,
his mid 20s anymore. So.
yeah.
Yeah, I love
Um,
DJ. That's a good pick. I'm I'm gonna change it up. I'll go with Jose Ramirez. I
ooh,
feel like,
really? Wow.
yeah, not as I, even though we're not even sure they're gonna make the playoffs, but his, I also not realize he's got some speed too. Like he's a
Yeah,
20 stolen base guy, but he's got the power, the average. He's been a little streaky. I feel like over the last few seasons, like he has his
yeah.
stretches where he's cold, but no, he's rock solid. He's like 40 bombs, 100 RBIs, 20 stolen bases. I think he's taking it home this year.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Jose, when did he finish third? Well, he finished second in the MVP last year, actually, I think,
Right.
to Jose
Right.
Abreu. And I think in 2019 or 18, he finished third at 2018, I think, because you remember that year, talking about streaky. I think like he finished the year like horribly or something. Like his numbers just completely took a tailspin in September. And he like held on for that third vote, but like he was kind of streaky, but I like Ramirez a lot. The only reason why I think that might not happen unless he gets traded to another American League team is because I think he has potential to get traded. Um,
Yeah.
I was looking at his contract the other day, and he is technically not a free agent after this year because he has two club options,
Okay.
but he could get traded because the Indians might not want to pay those options.
No, because he's going to
And
command a huge deal then, based on his
yeah,
numbers.
absolutely. So, there's a lot of contenders that need third baseman. You guys, the Mets. Obviously, I like JD. You do too, but defensively, you kind of want more.
Pair him with Lindor.
Uh,
Can you imagine?
right?
That'd be
I
sick.
mean, another trade with Cleveland and the Mets. I mean, why not? Also, the Braves, they have Austin Riley, but they could definitely put Ramirez at third over there.
Right.
Even the Brewers, they could make a move like that. So I think that because the Indians' pitching is so good, they're going to be in contention.
I
But
was going to say, I feel like they're going to be just good enough to not start selling people.
yeah, but there's potentially though. So
Who
yeah,
you
that's a
got
good pick.
for, yeah, I think it'll be close though. Who you got for National League?
Yeah, this one might seem pretty obvious, but I got Fernando Tatis Jr. winning the MVP this year. I think he's going to pretty much play the entire season. Yeah, and what else? What do you got to say? I mean, Tatis Jr. is flashy. He plays the game well. He's let the kids play to a T. Like that is exactly his personality, and I
I
love
love
it.
that.
Um, swing 3-0, hit a grand slam on 3-0 when you're up 14-5, whatever the fuck it was.
Piss off
Do
the
it.
opposing manager. That was so
Do it.
dumb. That was so dumb
I
that he was
know.
annoyed.
Dude, you saw like Tingler was annoyed, the manager, and so was Preller. Preller was like in the stands right behind the dugout, and like Fernando fucking runs around, Hosmer get whatever, they like high five, and like Preller's barking at him, and so is like his own manager. Like,
That's so
what?
soft.
What would you want him to do? You want him to stand there and watch the pitch? You pay him to do good. Like, I don't understand.
No, just
But
strike out next time. Like, no, that was whack.
and
That's a great pick though. I
and
mean,
he's
geez,
just fresh off the extension, so
yeah.
um, I think he's gonna want to live up to it.
Was he 22? Right? That's crazy. Yeah,
And he's gonna be a Padre now through his age 36 season.
that's a huge deal. Yeah.
Just picture where we're gonna be at that point in our lives, like
No, right? Like,
because we're
no,
about his age. I mean, that's just crazy, man.
he's sick. I don't even remember like knowing about him before he came up. I feel like out of nowhere he just became I don't even know, superstar.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna change it up. I will go with another shortstop in that division. I'm gonna go with Corey. I think Corey Seager
Really,
has a fat year.
man. See,
I think because I talk about like the postseason he had, and he's
absolute
had
stud, dude.
yeah, and he's had some injuries, the last few years. But if he just stays on the field, and I mean, as far as his counting sets too, like you look at the lineup around him, that's going to help him. I think this is the year Corey really breaks out.
Also, he's a free agent after the season, so
Oh, yeah,
big
I
talks
feel
with
even better
LA.
about that pick. Yeah,
Yeah, it's tough to see Corey in a different uniform than Dodger blue, but
I think he'll stay. But you know,
you think about it though, they do have to make some decisions on Bellinger, Bueller, even Kershaw coming up. I think I don't know.
true.
I know they just gave him another extension, but he's going to be a lifetime Dodger, so they're going to need to do something there. I mean, even a guy who's barely played, Gavin Lux. It would be nice to make a cheap extension to him and see if he'll take it. But I don't know about Muncy. Corey Seager though has always been one of the best shortstops in the league, and everyone was like so down on him. Remember in like 2019 or whatever, because he had Tommy John the year before.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
what do you
honestly, I was
expect?
even
Like,
not expecting too much from him.
it's just like a guy that proved that he was that talented. I get it, he had surgery, and that's why he played kind of bad. Like, if you have Tommy John surgery, also if you're like a left-handed hitter too, and you have Tommy John, like that's your right arm is what gets pulled through, and it was on his throwing arm, I think. So obviously, it wasn't just affecting his throwing; it affected his hitting,
Okay.
and he showed last year that he was back to himself, especially in the playoffs. So
Bro, full steam ahead. I think it's a
yeah,
huge season for him, which is
yeah,
ridiculous considering the rest of the lineup and who else can do that as well. But that is my
everyone,
pick for, and yeah, no, literally.
everyone,
So, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, Dodgers fans have a lot to be excited about. So
yeah.
that is our MVP picks. Cy Young, American League.
Man, I really want to go with Garrett Cole, but I just feel like Lucas Giolito is going to have an awesome season like he did last year.
Hmm.
I love Giolito, and I think he kind of like faced some adversity when he first got traded over to the White Sox when he had an ERA of like above 6 in like his whole
Yeah, he was
season.
bad.
He was bad. Like I was listening actually to a podcast the other day that he was on, and he was saying like he didn't even know if he was going to be able to like keep playing baseball. He was doing that bad, and then he just figured something out. And last year, obviously, he was a stud. And I think having Tony La Russa there is good, and having Lance Lynn there is awesome. Like a guy that can really
True.
help him out. He had Keuchel there to help him out last year. Now he's going to have Keuchel and Lynn. I think that's going to be great for him. And listen, he throws from a weird arm angle too that a lot of guys aren't used to. A lot of guys are starting to when he kind of goes short arm. I think like right here. Um,
Okay.
and you know he threw a no hitter last year. I know it was against Pittsburgh,
I
but
forgot about
still,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Like who couldn't throw a no hitter against Pittsburgh if they really tried? But
You know,
still,
no, that's
yeah. But
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. I'm
what
gonna
do you
go
got?
with I'm gonna go with Bieber. It's like it's an easy pick after last year, but I just feel like he was like so far ahead of everyone else, and he just
Yeah.
got nasty stuff. I will say though, I was tempted to pick this guy and I didn't. I think Tyler Glass now is like a dark horse.
Oh, dude, me
I
too.
think he's got some nasty stuff, and I just think of Tampa Bay and how they develop pitchers over the years.
Yeah.
I think Glass now could like quote me on this. I think he'll be right up there in the race.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I was thinking about picking him as well. Like you remember in the playoffs, he was a stud too. He kind of played actually kind of shitty against us. Like remember that home run Stanton hit against him was like absolute bomb in Petco Park. But he was fucking flamethrower, man. He's a flamethrower. His curveball is awesome, and I heard that his changeup has gotten better this offseason. So I mean, if he
Really?
has fucking
Hmm.
three legit pitches instead of two, that's like because like late in the postseason last year, I think he only threw his changeup like 5% of the time. If it's back, if it's good now, like that's sick, man. He definitely has a shot to win, especially because Morton and Snell aren't there anymore, so he's kind of gonna have like the full attention of it, the best starter there. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah, that's a tough one, but
yeah.
I'll barely give the edge to Bieber there. So National League, who you got?
National League, I got Lucas Giolito's high school teammate playing on the Cardinals in Jack Flaherty.
They were on the same team.
It's so funny, dude. So they were both on the same high school team, and so was Max Fried. They all played high school ball together.
Dude, imagine
I know.
facing that team.
Dude, I mean, come on.
You're
They're
gonna get
all
shut
throwing
out
hard
every
too. Like,
night,
dude, like imagine going like Giolito flamethrower, put Fried in, who's a lefty, kind of throws a little bit different, and then put Flaherty in flamethrower again. Like,
bro. That's dirty. That's
yeah,
so wild. I did not know that.
yeah, that's pretty cool. And they're all still friends, I think. So it would be really cool to see them both win the Cy Young in the same season.
Yeah,
To me, Jack Flaherty, obviously, he kind of had a down year last year, injuries. He could never really get on track, though, because of everything that happened with COVID in St. Louis. They didn't play for like 17 straight days or something. Um, 2019, his second half was absurd. I'm pretty sure he had an ERA like below one in the second half
yeah.
that year. He's
No,
a
he was
stud, man,
nasty.
and he's learning from Adam Wainwright more and more every year. And now that Wainwright's back, I think that's going to be a big help to him again. So I'm going with Jack Flaherty.
I like Jack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in that division. I'm gonna go with a wild card pick here. I'm gonna go with Luis Castillo.
Oh, on the
I
Reds,
think
yeah.
I think he's better than he's looked. So last year, his ERA was 3.2, but his like FIP, which is like
Yeah.
takes away the
Hmm.
defense and ballpark, that was 2.65.
Really?
Also was up there with
Wow.
the strikeout leaders. And I feel like the Reds have something going with these pitchers. I mean, you had Bauer last year, but with Gray and Castillo, I think Castillo pulls out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That's kind of a dark horse pick. But you said like sleeper kind of. I thought you were going with like Burns or Woodruff on Milwaukee. I
Hmm.
think Castillo is he definitely has potential. I think did he come in like third in the voting a couple years ago or no? I forget. I
He
feel like he might have
was,
been close in 2019. Maybe he didn't come
I think
in
he
the
was an
top three,
all-star
but
at least.
yeah, I think he
Regardless,
was.
I think he
Yeah,
put up like 220 strikeouts or something. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Castillo's kind of going to be the ace now that Bauer's gone. I guess get that Gray is good as well, but they kind of be like a co 1A 1B, I think, because Sonny Gray has been really good since going over to Cincinnati. But
Yeah, I think Gray
yeah,
also has a shot, but I just think Castillo's his
yeah,
stuff is a little better.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yeah, we're both sticking in the Central for that one. So now on to home run leaders, American League. A lot of big names you can go with. Who do you have?
Yeah, a lot of big names, man. Obviously Voit was the home run leader last year. Now we just talked about his injuries, so I don't think he's
Right.
got a shot. But you got guys like Jorge Soler led the league in homers in 2019. Guy's a beast.
True.
I mean, Trout could always do it. Judge can do it, but I'm going with Stanton, man. I'm going with Big G, my
Gee,
guy. I
he's
just,
big.
I, I just can't see him getting hurt again because
Don't
it's
say
pretty
that
much
though.
been announced
Ah,
that he's going to be the full-time DH.
mm,
I know he has been kind of, but they just like they got to tell him like don't try to steal bases. Don't do anything. Just
Just
fucking
don't
hit.
really move. Just kind of swing the
Yeah.
bat.
Listen, I mean, he's been doing yoga the whole offseason. Him and Judge with Eric Cressy is our new trainer, I think, on the Yankees.
Okay.
And he's big into like yoga and stuff for the big guys. I
They
think that's gonna
need
help a
that. Bro,
lot
they need to be
instead of
like
like lifting
flexible. They
fucking
can't keep
weights. I
on
know.
getting these strains.
And listen, I think Judge definitely has the exact same chances to lead the league in homers as Stanton does if they both stay healthy. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they have a shot to be like home run race through the summer.
Mm,
And
that
I
would be
know it
sick.
sounds biased coming from me as a Yankees fan, but
No, that's just they
I
just
would
gotta
love to
stay
see it.
healthy. That's the
And
only thing. And then
yeah,
other if they did though, like they're both putting up like 50, I feel like.
at least like you remember in 2017, Stanton's MVP season, he hit 59. He was close to 60. I remember Don Mattingly hit him leadoff like their last two games of the
Yeah.
season just so he'd have more at bats, and he
That
didn't
second
actually get to
half was
do it. But
ridiculous. Or really it
oh
was
my
like the last
god,
2 months. And
yeah, I
then
think
what
in
did Judge
August Stanton hit like 14 homers or something that season, or something crazy.
uh,
Like every other game, it was like he was homering. So,
what
but
did
yeah,
Judge
Judge,
and then Judge in his rookie year put up I feel like he hit the 50s, but I don't
yeah, he hit.
remember.
I think he hit 52.
52.
So, yeah, I mean, they could definitely be neck and neck in a home run race in the Bronx. So that's what I'm hoping for. But I think if Big G stays healthy, you can't really go against him. Obviously, there's other choices, but that's what I'm going
Yeah.
with.
I would love to see it happen. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Trout. Like it's an easy pick,
Yeah.
but I just
Okay.
feel like his powers increased over the last few years, and I feel like he's
Yeah.
also just gonna want to go ballistic this year. Like he'll even take on the strikeouts, but like if in like this all out effort to get
Yeah.
himself to the playoffs, he's just gonna be swinging for the fences. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's gonna hit 50 around there.
Yeah. I think like he might be trying to change his career a little bit, like less speed, more power,
Yeah,
because
because he came up and he was definitely
yeah.
more
Yeah.
like agile, more
I mean, when
30
he first
stolen
came up,
bases.
you could plug him in for like 30 stolen bases, 30 homers probably.
Yeah,
Now I think it's more so like 10 stolen bases to like 40 to 50 homers, in my
yeah,
opinion. Plus, because they do have a good lineup around him, like Rendon is an all-around hitter. Otani is a stud. I was thinking about going Otani for this pick actually, but I just don't know how many games he's going to hit because
right.
of pitching wise. I don't know. That's kind of a tough choice, but
Yeah,
um, I wouldn't be surprised if Trout just goes off and hits for an even lower average too, like 270 something, but he has like 50 homers. I mean, I think the Angels would be happy with that. So
yeah.
yeah,
So that's who I got. And then moving on to, wow, I'm blanking. National League.
yeah. NL, I this was tough too. There's a lot of good choices here. Obviously like could be Tatis. There's a lot of guys. I mean, if Baez bounces back, you can never count him out. But I'm gonna go with Pete Alonso. I'm going with the polar
Polar
bear. I
Bear
think
Pete.
just as easily as having a Stanton Judge race in the Bronx is a Stanton or Judge race with Alonso on the other side of New York. I think
Right.
that could potentially happen, and that would be awesome, dude. Can you imagine summer games in New York, the fans on the street, especially like come September when we play you guys? If
Dude,
it's like a close race,
it's gonna be a fun summer in New York.
yeah. So I think, I mean, dude, Pete, how many did he hit? 2019. It was close to Judge's numbers, right?
I
Did he
think
hit
he
like
beat Judge's
53?
number, right? Wasn't it like
Yeah,
53 or something?
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a stud, man, and I'm going with him for the National League. Obviously, maybe Arenado too, but I think Arenado's going to have difficulty getting out of
That's true.
Colorado.
He's got
So
to adjust a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
I'm
what
gonna
I got.
go. No, that's fair. I'm gonna go with Cody Bellinger
Yeah, all right.
because he has his streaky moments, but I feel like he can definitely put up like high 40s.
Yeah.
And last year was not his best season, but the year before when he was back and forth with Yelich, I think he
Oh yeah.
approaches that again. And then
Yeah. Yeah, and again, like I feel like Yelich is the guy that I didn't even think of because of how bad he did last year. But like he's another
he's
guy who could
I don't
easily
know
do
what
it.
to expect from him.
I think he'll bounce back, man. You can't. I just find it difficult to judge people off of 2 months. I get that we kind of do with the Astros
Yeah,
players, but um, Yelich has proven consistently that like he's been good every year he's been in Milwaukee, even in Miami, he was still a stud. So,
Yeah. His
but yeah,
2019 before he got hurt was like just sick.
oh yeah,
So
yeah. What did he do? He like broke his kneecap or
there's
something
something
when
with
he
his
fell the
kneecap
ball off.
after
Yeah,
like 130 games. But I feel
yeah,
like he was gonna win that if the MVP,
yeah.
if not Bellinger, if he had just
I
stayed
think
healthy,
so. Yeah, I
which is
think
a
so.
shame. But
But yeah, I think Bellinger definitely could lead the league in homers for sure.
right. So manager of the year, we'll start with American League.
So, American League this year, my manager of the year is Charlie Montoyo of the Toronto Blue Jays. I think he's going to lead the Jays. Like I said, I think they're going to win 93 games this year. That's going to be a big step up. And I think he's got a lot to work with, but he's also going to have to figure out ways to like move the pitching staff around, kind of see how Pearson does. Obviously, Ryu is going to be out there every fifth day. He's going to have former Met Steven Matz. He's going to try to work with him, see what happens there. I just think Montoyo works well, as we've seen with the young players over there. He seems like the perfect guy for the job, working with guys like Bichette, Biggio, Vladdy, Rowdy Tellez, Teoscar Hernandez, all these young guys.
Right.
And I think having Springer and Semi in there is going to really help him. I think he's going to work with them because they're veterans and stuff, and they're going to really have a great clubhouse culture over there. So I think Montoyo is going to bring him to the playoffs, and I think he's going to be the manager of the year in the AL.
I'm tempted to agree. I feel like I just feel like Boone is just always so steady with you guys, and like he always is just getting creative, even despite all these injuries. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go towards Montoya too. That's a good pick,
Okay.
especially for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in a while, and just
Yeah.
the expectations. But I think they're gonna live up to them. But yeah, I think Boone is just right would be right behind him. So
Yeah. I was, it's tough. Obviously, I love Boone. I would pick him every year if I could, but
yeah.
I think it's kind of like the expectations are there for us every year. It's like Toronto kind of has them now, but he's a
Yeah,
good
it's
guy to
definitely
be
the
around the
most like
young guys.
storyline oriented award. Wait, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
definitely this is a strange award compared to the rest. But
And I feel like a lot of times it'll be a team that hasn't really necessarily been good recently. Obviously, Bob Melvin has won it a few times, but again, the A's are the A's. You're always going to do better than you think they're going to do. So,
right,
but yeah, I think there's always going to be a storyline with how you work with the players and stuff, how you get along with the players. Which is why for my National League pick, I'm going with your guy in Queens, Luis Rojas. I think obviously he wasn't the first choice for the Mets to be their manager last year with everything that happened with Beltran,
oh yeah,
the cheating scandal and everything with Houston. But then Rojas came in and, even though you guys had kind of a bad season, I think he was a good manager last year. Everybody knew him too, because I
hmm
think he was a coach in the minors for a while too before he was the bench coach on the major league
right. I believe
roster.
so. Yeah,
Like I think Alonso remembered him as a coach. They all had him in AAA. Like even I don't know Conforto, guys like that, Degrom.
they seem to like him. Yeah,
They do, and like I said, I'm predicting the Mets to win the East. So why not go with this guy to be the manager of the year? I think he's going to work great with the pitching staff, all these personalities. Plus, now he's got Francisco Lindor there. So
yeah.
I'm going with Louis Rojas.
No, it's a pretty good pick. I can't I just can't go with it. It's just because it's my guy.
Yeah,
But
you know,
well, okay, if I'm going with this thing where I think like Washington's gonna sneak in there in like that crowded division, I'll go with Dave Martinez. I
yeah,
think, and because it's a questionable pick because they've already won the
yeah,
World Series with him. I just feel like if that were to happen, that they do get in there, that he's done a pretty good job managing like a
yeah.
pretty mid-level team. They're definitely not loaded there, but I'll like hesitantly say Dave Martinez.
I mean, I like the pick because you have them making the playoffs. I think, especially after how horrible they were in the 60 games last year, if he can bring them back to the playoffs, that deserves some credit for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's a
think,
tough one
yeah,
because I also feel like a lot of the managers in the National League already have those expectations, and they're like, for example, we're not going with like a Dave Roberts or a
right. I mean,
or
even Jace Tingler, like because
yeah, or like
the
Brian
Padres,
Snickers already won it.
yeah,
So like I
yeah,
feel like in the National League that one's tougher, but
yeah.
that's what I have for manager of the year in both leagues. So reliever of the year. start of the American League?
Um, yeah, so I know there's a lot of good choices, but here I'm going with the obvious pick. I'm going with Liam Hendricks, the Aussie. He is newly closer for the Chicago White Sox. And listen, I mean, he's been a stud with Oakland the past 2 years. You can't really. Have you seen him in spring, by the way? He
No.
looks like insane, dude. His fucking fastball, he's throwing it like 98. It looks like he's throwing 105. Like, he
Damn.
just has some, I don't know what he does, man, but he just fucking throws the ball hard. He has great off speed. And, not that there weren't good catchers in Oakland. Like, your guy Sean Murphy came up last year. You picked him for the player spotlight last week. He was a
Yeah.
good catcher, but now Liam Hendricks has the opportunity to pitch to Yasmani Grandal, who has improved a lot defensively, and he's been around for a while. So I think that'll only help him, his performance out there. And I think the fact that Chicago has a lot of hype around them is just going to hype up Liam Hendricks because you know how excited he gets and how pumped up he gets when he gets big outs. I think he's the perfect fit for Chicago, and I think he's gonna lead the league in saves. I think he's gonna have like 50 something saves. I'm gonna say it right now. He's gonna have
Damn.
above 56, in my opinion. So
That makes sense. I guess the only counterpoint is that he's definitely going from more of a pitcher's park to a hitter's park.
yeah,
So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't affect him, but I do know Chicago is known for that.
yeah.
So
Who you got?
for I'm a this one is kind of a sleeper. Maybe I'll go with
Hmm.
Raisel Iglesias on
Oh,
the
now he's on the
Angels.
Angels. Yeah.
So he's got some good
Okay.
stuff. He's shown it with
Yeah.
Cincinnati. Last year his FIP was 184. So
Wow.
and he strikes out a decent amount of people. I think maybe depends on how good the Angels are. I don't know what his save numbers are going to be, but I don't know if that should
Yeah.
matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No.
I feel like for
Yeah.
a reliever of the year, it should just be who's had the best season,
Yeah.
regardless of closing games. So
Yeah, no, I mean, like, even though I say Hendricks is going to lead the league in saves, I don't. That's not going into my decision making because
right,
um, it would be nice because he's in a contender. But like Iglesias could easily have the best season of any reliever and not have as many saves as other relievers. So
mm,
I think that's a good pick, though. I think it was kind of an interesting move for the Angels to get him because they still don't have like the core starting pitching group you'd like them to have.
right.
I would have been more helpful to trade for like Castillo or Gray instead
Yeah,
of Iglesias
exactly.
or get them in the same trade. But I think he's going to have a great year out there in Anaheim because, like you're saying about ballparks, Great American Ballpark is a hitter's park, and Anaheim is not. So I think that'll
Mm,
only help his numbers too.
yeah, I think he'd be pretty good for LA this year.
Yeah.
So move on to National League.
Yeah. So for the National League, like we were just saying, saves aren't really important. Um, I'm going to go with Jordan Hicks, who is on the Cardinals. We were just talking about him last week because of
Little
that like
comeback player of the
22.
year.
Yeah. Definitely, at the very least, comeback reliever of the year.
Yeah,
I mean, Hicks is a stud. You see him throw out there. He fucking throws like 103. It moves across the whole plate like a two-seamer.
no,
He's a
he's got
stud,
some.
man. He has the potential to be the Cardinals closer. I'm not really sure if he's going to be or not. They have some choices over there. Obviously, they still have Andrew Miller too. Um,
Right.
but I don't think he'll be just a closer. So Hicks could definitely do it. The one thing I'm a little worried about with Hicks is that he didn't pitch a ton in 2019 because he got hurt, and he obviously didn't pitch at all last year because of COVID.
Hmm.
So, I mean, this pick kind of has to do with the amount of innings they actually let him pitch. But if they let him go out there with no leash, if he's really shown that he's good, he feels good, I think he'll have a great season in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Big reason why they're going to win the division. So,
Yeah, that's fair. I'll go with a little bit more of a front runner pick. I'll stay in that division and say Devin Williams, just because his stuff was so good last year. So
yeah.
in 27 innings, 53 strikeouts, 0.33 ERA.
Oh,
His
33.
his FIP was 0.86, so it wasn't like a fluke. So he's 26 too. So I feel like he could stay even if he just
Wow.
his numbers regress a little bit, he could still definitely be the
I
best
didn't know he was
reliever in the league.
26.
Yeah,
I didn't
he's
know that.
yeah,
So he's
no,
kind of a late
I
bloomer
had
then.
not even heard of him until I felt like the end of
Oh,
last season. I was just like, damn, this guy
yeah.
freaking ate it up. So yeah, I think a bunch of good relievers in that Central Division.
I mean, yeah, you look at him and Hader too at the back of Milwaukee's bullpen.
It is
I
another
think,
possibility too.
yeah, and I think that that's a big reason why some people are viewing Milwaukee as possibly winning the division. I
Right.
know we both picked St. Louis, but if Milwaukee has like they have Woodruff and Burns, and then their bullpen is Hader and Williams, like that should scare the other Central teams a lot. So
Pretty legit.
yeah,
So
um,
interested to see who. Yeah, I think it's really just down to them or St. Louis. So we'll see what happens with that. And then
mhm.
our last, sorry, second to last, for we'll talk batting title. So American League, we got.
Man. So for this pick, I got someone who I feel like is not really a top pick for this, and I know maybe I'm going out on a limb a little too far, but I'm going with Vladdy Jr. I think
Ooh,
he's going to win the
okay.
batting title. Obviously, everyone wants to talk about Vladdy's power, and he deserves that hype about his power for sure. But during the minors, he was more known for like hitting over 300 every year that he was in the minors. Obviously, he came up when he was 19, so that was only like a year and a half. But still, I mean, you remember his dad was a great contact hitter as well as a power hitter. And I
Mm,
think Vladdy is built exactly the same way, especially now that he's lost the weight. I think he's going to be quicker through the zone. I think he is going to still have a lot of power, but I don't think he's like 40 homer power. I think Vladdy's
okay.
more like 20 to 25 each season, driving close to 100, but I think he's going to hit above 300. I know he really hasn't done it in the big leagues yet, but he did it in the minors. So I think he definitely has the potential to do that. And obviously, Tim Anderson and TJ LeMahieu have been top two the past two seasons. It's hard to go against them, especially with a guy like Vladdy Jr. But I think he definitely has some potential. So I'm going with the sleeper guy kind of here
That's an
as my pick.
interesting pick. Yeah, because I feel like when I view Vladdy, it's more of like a 40 homer guy who might strike out
Yeah,
a little bit, and he's a little
yeah.
heftier, but
Not
I can see it
anymore.
happen. Yeah, no, he's also a little bit too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. So
42 pounds
damn. Yeah,
since
no,
last like
he's
summer. So
people are thinking this is the year he
yeah,
breaks out. So we'll see. And that's
yeah,
scary for
oh
Toronto.
yeah,
I'm gonna go with the guy you just mentioned. I'll go with DJ. We've already talked about him a
yeah,
little bit,
yeah,
but I just feel like you know exactly what you're getting from him every year, and just like a
yeah,
all around a great hitter. So
yeah,
that's an easy one for me. I'll stick with DJ.
yeah. You can't really go wrong with picking DJ to be honest with you.
Now
So yeah,
for
um,
National League, what do you got?
I know. I guess he's maybe the obvious pick in the NL. I'm going with Juan Soto. He's been compared to a lot of great hitters, and he's arguably the best all-around hitter in our game right now.
Yeah,
Obviously, Trout's still Trout, but I think Soto is the best pure hitter in the game, and he's only 21 or 22, whatever the fuck he is right now. So,
it's
yeah,
nuts.
I'm going with Juan. I think he's going to have a great bounce back season. He's going to be playing a full year, and I think he's going to be a big reason why the Nats are close in the race. Obviously, you have them actually making it, and
Right.
I think, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I think Soto even has a chance to win the MVP if he plays 150 games and plays at the level he can play at. So.
I was gonna put him there, but then I
Yeah,
changed my mind with Corey. But no, yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
I'm gonna say I'll stick with. This is tough. I think I'll go Freddie Freeman.
yeah. Back to back. Wow.
Yeah, I think he'll pull it off because I feel because like it wasn't even like a fluke season. I feel like he just does this all the time, and like now he's finally just getting noticed.
Yeah,
I will say I think Mookie will be up there too, so Mookie will put up a fight. But
yeah.
yeah, I'll stick with Freddie going back to back
Okay.
here.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I love Freddie. My roommate here is a Braves fan, so I
For sure.
obviously watch a lot of Braves games where watch the highlights and stuff. I love Freddie. I was surprised that was his first MVP last year, right?
Right? Yeah.
Like that's nuts. I can't believe he hadn't won one before. Dude, that's like insane to
No,
me.
because like I feel like he
Um,
puts up that type of season a lot, and they're just
yeah,
finally starting to get a little like national recognition. So
yeah, and especially because they made it to the NLCS and almost made it to the World Series. They
right,
kind of had the dreaded 3-1 loss.
it was
Sorry, Braves
nuts.
fans, but that's pretty much what happened. So, but yeah, Freddie winning the batting title, that would be That would be good, man. I think I mean, he has a chance to do it. Acuna could as well, I think. That new kid, by the way, Christian Pache, I think is his name, the center fielder with Atlanta.
Okay.
Um, he's a stud, man. He's like a sleeper for rookie of the year, in my opinion, as
Mm,
well. So you see him in the playoffs a little bit last year when I don't know, someone went down with an injury and then he came up an outfielder. So
okay.
yeah, we'll see. But Freddie could definitely do it.
Yeah. So now for our last award, Comeback Player of the Year. We've talked about it a little bit, but American
Yeah.
League, who are you going with?
I'm going with Joey Gallo.
Mm,
I think even though he's going to be playing in a shitty team in Texas, we've talked about him a lot on this podcast already from the beginning. And listen, Gallo had a horrible season. Let's just be plain and simple about it. He hit 181. Uh, yikes, 181. That's not what you want to see there.
no.
10 homers, 26 RBIs, 679 OPS. I mean, that's not what the Rangers were expecting from Gallo. And I don't think that's what he was expecting out of himself. It was only 57 games that he played in. And I think he's going to have a great season because you remember in 2019, he had a great year and he kind of
Until
broke
he
out
got hurt,
finally.
right?
Yeah, he
But
did.
before that, he was like
Yeah.
MVP caliber.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, I'm going with Joey Gallo. I think we've talked about this a lot. We have thought that he has potential to get traded if Texas is out of it. I think
Yeah.
he'll have, if he gets traded at the deadline, it will be the rest of this season and all of next season. So obviously they would have to get a big haul in return from whatever team wanted him. But, again, Joey Gallo has turned himself into a great defensive outfielder. He's played some third. He could play first. Obviously you could just stick him at DH if you really wanted to. Big
Yeah.
lefty bat. He almost reminds you of a guy like Adam Dunn right now, but based
That's
off
a
of
good,
his
yeah.
numbers in 2019, he was better than Dunn was with average wise. I hate to compare him to Dunn because Dunn was just like power. That was it.
Well, it's
And I
almost like a
think,
Chris Davis type too. Like
right.
other than
And
like
I, yeah.
his best season.
And I just think that Gallo doesn't want to be compared to guys like that. I think he's kind of sick of it. So
Yeah.
obviously we're in an age where strikeouts and home runs doesn't matter. That's just what you're going to try to do. But I think he could definitely bounce back this year and have a great season.
He gets on base a decent amount too.
He
Like
does.
he's
He
not
does walk a lot.
necessarily just like home run striker. He does
Yeah.
walk a little bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a good pick. I'll I'm gonna go with G. You kind of convinced me to talk about John Carlson moving to
Yeah.
DH. I think yeah, even if he just puts up like a maybe like a 30, 35 homer season, I think
Yeah.
that's a big bounce back. I think that's my guy in the American League.
Yeah. I wanted to go with him, but yeah,
You can
I
go
don't
with
know.
Judge too. I feel like the
Yeah.
American League has a lot of good people for that.
Yeah, because there were a lot of people that either just had bad years or they were hurt last year. I mean, there's a lot of guys, even just from the Yankees, like Glaber had a horrible season too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
think,
true because I
yeah,
guess that's a good point because because of the 60 game season, a lot of people just randomly had shitty years.
yeah,
So like this award could go to so many different people.
yeah.
I
It's
hadn't thought
tough.
of that.
Definitely the National League too. For the
Yeah,
National League, I was thinking about going with Yelich because he's obviously the easiest pick, but there was a lot of guys that had bad years in the NL too, like Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. A lot of Cubs had bad seasons. I mean, even
right.
Arenado didn't have a good season last year. He was dealing with some shoulder issues. And we talked about some pitchers, like we talked about Jack Flaherty before, how he had a bad season. But I'm gonna go with a Cub. I'm gonna go with Javier Baez.
Okay.
Javi hit like 203 or something.
Damn.
Um, I mean, I think he had like 6 or 7, maybe 8 homers or something. Drove in like 20 something. That's not Javi numbers at all. That's not what we're
No.
accustomed to. Um, the guy, we know he's way better than that, and I think he's either going to be playing himself into a trade or he's going to help the Cubs maybe get close to winning the division. So I'm going with Javi,
20 different guys here.
right? Like,
I'll just throw in the wild card. I'll say Marcus Stroman because he literally didn't play.
so that's
And I
another
think
thing. You could totally pick guys that haven't even played.
right. And
Yeah,
like I
okay,
feel
yeah,
like if he just stays healthy, he has like ace level
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah,
I'll go with the Long Island guy. Definitely Yelich shows up there.
Yeah.
like half the Dodgers lineup really just did not have a good season,
Yeah.
which is kind of ridiculous considering they won the World Series and like
I
half the
know.
team just like didn't really perform.
I'm pretty sure like Muncy had a horrible year.
Yeah,
He hit like
Bellinger
below
like
200. Like,
would
yeah.
definitely was behind what he had put
Yeah.
up.
Even Turner might not have had his best season. I don't know,
Right.
but
So
yeah.
I feel like that one's wide open. But
Yeah.
I'll go with the real wild card. I'll just stick with Stroman.
Okay. Yeah. Strosho, obviously. Listen, everyone's saying like, well, is Stroman even like at number two? You remember when he was on Toronto, Stroman was at number one, and he
Yeah.
was the number one for those playoff teams in 15 and 16, and he was a stud. Like, and also he's another performance. Actually, it just came up on the 4 years ago. You remember the World Baseball Classic back in 2017? Did you watch it at all? Or
I don't think so.
yeah, so Stroman pitched the championship game against Puerto Rico that the U.S. won, and he pitched like 7 innings. I don't even think he allowed a run
Hmm.
against like Puerto Rico against guys like Baez, Correa, Lindor, all these
Yeah.
awesome hitters, Eddie Rosario, Carlos Beltran, and he was a stud, man. And like he's performed in the playoffs in a championship game like atmosphere like that. Um, like if DeGrom wasn't there, I would argue that Stroman is your ace. I know that Taiwan Walker is awesome and Syndergaard is when he's healthy, but
Yeah,
Stroman,
even Carrasco might be our two guys. So even if Stroman's like
yeah,
the third guy, like you take that.
yeah,
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a pretty good season. And also,
yeah.
I had forgot this. This is his first full season playing for them. Because in
Yeah, yeah,
2019, I feel like July is when we got him.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I think it's a big year for the Stro show.
yeah.
So now we're going a little bit into just opening night games, matchups we like. So if you were to pick a player, you think it's kind of a big first day.
Yeah, if you look at like stats, there's a lot of guys who just have like insane numbers on opening day. I guess it's just like the hype of getting to play again, things like that. I know that like Bryce Harper has great opening day numbers, but I'm going with the guy we talked about a lot today, actually, which wasn't even really planned out. But I'm going with
No,
Giancarlo Stanton, Big G. He's started 10 opening day games in his career, and he's hit 361, four doubles, five homers, and 13 RBIs. So
damn.
he performs big on opening day, whether he was in Miami or New York. I remember on opening day in Toronto when he came over to New York, he hit two homers at the Rogers Center, which was pretty awesome. And listen, 361 on opening day is nothing to like. He hits good on opening day, and he has a lot of slugging too. Four doubles, five homers. I mean, that's legit. So I'm going with G.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'll go with Harper here too. I actually
Yeah,
don't even have the stats on him. I
yeah,
feel like I've seen just multiple opening days now where he just hits like a mammoth home run
yeah,
to like right field each time.
yeah,
So yeah, I think Bryce is my guy.
yeah, yeah. Bryce, he just loves the big moments, and opening day counts as a big moment, in my opinion. So,
No, of course.
especially
What?
this year because there's going to be fans in the stands for the first
True.
time. I mean, not for the guys that played in the World Series, but for guys we're talking about like G and Harper, they haven't played in front of fans. Obviously, they did in spring training, but it doesn't really count. So,
Yeah. No,
um,
true. It's going to add to it.
yeah,
What matchup you like the most as far as actual game goes?
yeah. So there's a lot of good games, but I think the one that's most interesting is White Sox are playing on the road against the Angels. I
Hmm.
think because I picked Giolito as my Cy Young winner, I want to see how he starts the season off. He's the opening day starter for Chicago. And I know he's going to be going against Bundy, so they're not having Otani start on opening day. But Bundy had a great season last year as well. And I want to see how Giolito does in his first start of the year against a lineup that has Trout, Rendon, Fletcher, Otani, Upton. That's a legitimate lineup to face your first time out. And you remember the White Sox only faced the Central last year.
Yeah.
So now he's going against lineup that he hasn't seen in a long time. And it's going to be a big test. I think he's going to be really hyped up, though. It's going to be a 10 o'clock game, obviously, because it's on the West Coast. So I'll be staying up late to watch that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point about the lineups he's faced. I'm gonna predict he
Yeah.
gets roughed up a little bit. I
You
think
think so?
he gives up like at least three, four runs, maybe five. So that's no, that's a good pick. That's a big matchup.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Um,
I like Blue Jays Yankees. You
okay.
know, in New York, the Mecca, Garrett on the mound. I
Yeah.
mean, we talked a lot about the Blue Jays. I think that's a huge
Yeah,
matchup. The big like divisional one.
yeah. Listen, you got big guys on the mound. Ryu is going for Toronto, and then Cole is going for us. It's the first game of the day too. We're on at 105, so everyone will be ready to tune in at 105. And the Tigers and Indians play at 1-2, but you know,
No,
Mass
I
leave the matchup for some
don't think
reason.
anyone's watching that one except for Tigers and Indians fans.
Yeah,
So
so oh man, I just can't wait to turn on the TV. Sunny day in the Bronx on a Thursday, April 1st. It's gonna be awesome,
bro,
man.
I got the fans back, like you're
Oh
saying.
yeah,
No,
Yankee
it's
Stadium.
been
Oh yeah, it's
been
gonna
long
be awesome.
awaited.
Yeah,
There are some pretty good games that day. I don't know why I was
yeah,
telling you this. I think the Dodgers are opening in Colorado. I think
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
weird one.
That is weird,
Like
especially
the
after just
defending
winning the World
champions
Series. Yeah,
are gonna play like one of the worst teams in the league. That's I don't know.
in Colorado too. It's probably gonna be fucking freezing.
I
Like you
feel
don't
like
even think
baseball
about
just
that, but
MLB just like doesn't really plan out this stuff well as far as like
no.
marketing. But
Yeah, I know.
no, there's some good ones though. I think
Yeah,
both the ones we mentioned are pretty solid.
yeah.
So that's
Um,
no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say, I think there's like some boring games too that day. Like I was looking at, no offense to these teams, but there's like Rangers Royals. I know I've said I'm kind of getting big on the Royals now, but that's kind of gonna be like
No,
boring.
that's a pretty bad game.
You got Astros A's. You know,
Uh,
you got Mariners Giants. That one might be the worst.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's that's like the latest game that's on too. So I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I feel like the league just obviously there are bad teams that get to face bad teams. I feel like the league could just do a
Yeah,
better job of
yeah,
like picking
yeah.
opening stuff. But
But hey, I just can't wait for some games to be on opening day, man. It's just
oh
it's
yeah,
a great feeling on opening day, man. Like I always wanted it to be a holiday when I was in like high school and shit.
oh yeah.
Um, you know, I mean, I don't know. Since my senior year of high school, I've actually sat on the couch and watched baseball all day instead of doing anything else for the past 4 years now. So
No, I had a couple
yeah,
opening days in high school where my dad like he
yeah,
worked in my high school and he would just pull me out of class and we just like
right,
watch the games. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
so I might have class during this one. I forget when the Mets play, but you know what?
mm,
No, we're like, there's no way we're missing that.
yeah.
So
Yeah, dude. I have a class on Thursday at 9:30, ends at 10:45. Then I'm just watching baseball the
no,
whole day.
that's the
So
rest of the day. No, of
yeah,
course. So
yeah,
no, that's what we're looking forward to. That is our opening day preview.
yeah,
One other thing we're going to touch upon before we go, Salvador Perez has signed a 4-year, $82 million extension with the Royals with a 5th-year club option. Definitely
yeah.
not like a flashy player, but like he's been their guy for a few
He's
years
been
now.
their guy, man. Salvi obviously helped them win the World Series in 2015. Listen, you talk to anybody in the game, everybody loves him. They say he has a great personality. You see him, he's always smiling. He always is
Yeah,
just having fun. And he's been a great player. Honestly, you say not flashy, but if you look at the stats, man, he's been solid.
yeah,
Obviously in 2019, he missed the whole year because he had Tommy John surgery. But he came back last year and had a great 60 game sprint. Um, he was also an all star from 2013 through 2018. And so
yeah.
that's like a lot of years in a row. And over 162 over his career, he averages 25 homers, 89 RBIs, and a 749 OPS. For a catcher, obviously he's not going to play 162, but those are
Yeah.
solid numbers, man. I would say you plug him in for about 20 and 70 to 80 RBIs each season. For a catcher, that's not bad, especially a guy that's getting up there in age. So,
Oh yeah. Especially I feel like the league is not really rich on catchers right now. You have like Real
no,
Muto and Will Smith,
yeah.
but no, he's been really reliable for them. So what is that?
And
4-year 82? That's like
I
around
don't know, a
20
lot of
million a
people,
season.
man, a lot of people are saying like that might be too much money, but good
I
for the
don't think
Royals, man.
so.
Good for them to give that out to
For a
him.
catcher? No, I feel like
Yeah,
that's like
especially a
about a
guy that's
win.
been on your team for his whole career, he helped you win a World Series. Have him be around once the young guys start playing well. Like we've talked about the Royals, how they're up and coming. Now you're going to have Perez here probably for 5 years because that's a club option. So I don't see
Yeah.
why they wouldn't retain him. And he might be there for the next Royals team that makes the playoffs. So
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's pretty good signing. I think that's a pretty good value for a guy like him.
yeah,
So, and then we're closing out with our stat of the week. You want to take it away?
yeah. So kind of a funny opening day stat here. So back in 2013, Clayton Kershaw was the first pitcher to pitch a shutout on opening day and hit a home run since 1953, and that was Bob Lemon. Uh, that's a
Damn.
throwback
I
name
remember that
there.
game because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they were playing San Francisco, and it was like a 1-0. It was like something close.
yeah, it was. Yeah. Besides, I would have thought it would have been like Bumgarner. We were talking about this before. We forgot which pitcher had actually done it,
Yeah,
but Kershaw could swing the bat a little bit.
yeah, I forgot about that. I feel like
Yeah,
ever since Bumgarner's dropped, he's like been that prototypical like pitcher that hits, along with
yeah.
like maybe Syndergaard. But
Or Greinke.
right, yeah.
Yeah. But so we're gonna see who do you think has the best chance to do that this opening day? Which pitcher?
Maybe Jake.
Yeah.
I feel like Jake's hit DeGrom's hit a couple home runs.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has at City Field, right? I feel like he hit one like opposite field once. That was like a bomb.
Yeah, see, like I'm blanking
Yeah.
on like pitchers that can actually hit now. Is
Yeah.
Kirsch? Is he pitching opening day for the Dodgers?
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
is.
mean that's. I'll
In
go with Jake.
Colorado, I think it would be tough for Kershaw to do that in Colorado. He could hit a homer, but not pitch a shutout. So,
That's true. Yeah,
um,
I'll go with Jake there. DeGrom.
so you guys are playing the Nats, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, wow. So you think DeGrom's gonna hit one off Scherzer, huh?
I I think he pulls it off. I think it happens.
Wow. Man, you're gonna see Scherzer going nuts on the mound if that happens.
No, because like the other thing too, bro, is like we never give him any run support, so a lot of times he's just like, "Fuck it, I'll do it by myself."
Yeah.
So like that would be like something Jake does on opening day. So
Okay.
what do you
Um,
think?
I'm going with Brandon Woodruff on the Brewers. We all know that Woodruff can swing the bat. Remember back in 2018 in the NLCS in Game One, he hit a
Yeah,
homer
yeah,
off of
true.
Kershaw. Off of Kershaw. So he can swing the bat a little bit. He's another guy that throws righty but hits lefty, just like Jake does.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Woodruff starts off Milwaukee season with a bang in Miller Park. They're playing the Twins. I think Kenta Maeda has the opening day nod for Minnesota. And obviously he had a great season last year, so it could be tougher than we think. But yeah,
No, that's a pretty good one. I do remember that against Kershaw. That
yeah,
was just a wacky series. Like, what
it
is it with
was.
Kershaw and freaking? I mean, at least
Yeah,
he's buried the.
yeah. Finally, no one can really say much about his postseason performance, but
Yeah. No, that's good though. I wonder if he'll come in with a like a I don't even know what the word is. It's like a relieved attitude this
yeah,
season now.
I feel like he will, man. I feel like
Monkey
he
off his
kind of can
back.
just yes, exactly.
So
Yeah, yeah,
so that wraps up for us. This is our last episode before opening day. So everyone enjoy the games on Thursday, and we'll be back to cover those games next week.
yeah. Have fun, guys. We're finally here. It's gonna be opening day. Sit back, relax, and enjoy some good baseball. Hopefully, some of you guys are even going to the games. There's fans back in the stands. So it's going to be a fun day Thursday, I'll tell you that.
Big one. We'll see you guys.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.